Good morning. I'm so glad to see you all today, this last Sunday in August. So, I have a question for you all. You don't have to answer out loud, just some words. What happens in your version of a cocoon? And what happens in your version of the freedom of flight? In nature, the cocoon generally blends into the underbrush. It does not move, but change is happening in that still, contained place. Incredible transformations. Maybe one's only a cocoon can nourish. Finally, though, a cocoon has served its purpose. A changed life takes flight. It moves out. The wings of flight can be wildly colorful. The path of flight is beautiful to see, and it sets us dreaming. The freedom of flight seems infinite, maybe dangerous. Flight, cocoon, and flight. Maybe we can feel in between the dark cocoon and the splendor of flight. Maybe we shift between cocoon and flight all the time. Those sitting next to you, those in the street, those we work with, all are caught up, perhaps, in their cocoon moments and in flying moments. All is in movement. I actually think that's a physics issue, but we feel it in our heart. Change can happen overnight. It can happen seemingly in an instant. It sometimes happens without even conscious effort, it seems. But then, when we consciously set out to change something in ourselves, consciously, it can be elusive. It can seem impossible. You are here this changing morning, on this changing, spinning earth. Let's see what we can share. Come, let us worship together. Our Unitarian Universalist chalice this morning will be lit by Reverend Liz Murray, our guest minister. The Reverend Murray is a staff chaplain at the VA hospital in Loma Linda, California. She is also the affiliated community minister at Orange Coast Unitarian Universalist Church. She previously served as the Interfaith Programs Assistant at the University of Southern California's Office of Religious and Spiritual Life, as well as chaplain intern at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center. Liz graduated from the Claremont School of Theology with a Master's of Divinity in 2020. Originally from Pittsburgh, she lives in Monrovia with her wife, Hillary. She's been here several times, and we welcome Reverend Murphy this morning.
Thank you for the warm welcome back. It's so good to be with you all again this morning, and thank you for such a beautiful introduction to today's service. For those of you I haven't met, I'm a UU minister based in Monrovia. As Sheila mentioned, I work as a hospital chaplain in my day-to-day ministry, but it's always a joy to return to UU worship on Sunday mornings. I'm really grateful to be with you all on this Sunday morning. Today in worship, we'll be considering how change shapes us personally, professionally, spiritually. As Unitarian Universalists, how might we transform ourselves and in so doing, transform the world? This Sunday, we'll look to the world of the butterfly to offer us some lessons in transformation. What invitation might be present before us? So as we fully cross this threshold into Sunday's service, let us turn to our chalice lighting, the symbol of our faith, with these words from Reverend Pat Uribe Lichty. We come from many places, along different paths, bringing different truths. We come with different histories and different realities, and yet we come together as one people, with faith that we can use our differences to heal ourselves and each other, to bring wholeness to a fractured world. We come seeking to find community, to find acceptance of who we are. In this place, may we find others who are much like us and others who are much different too. May our lit chalice remind us that we are a people taught by different stories with many voices, but always one people, one community, working for a world where love creates justice and justice gives birth to peace.
Good morning. Tell me, where is the road I can call my own, that I left, that I lost so long ago? All these years I have wandered, oh, when will I know there's a way, there's a road that will lead me home? After wind, after rain, when the dark is done, as I wake from a dream in the cold of day, through the air there's a calling from far away. There's a voice I can hear that will lead me home. Rise up, follow me, come away is a call, with love in your heart as the only song. There is so much beauty as where you belong. Rise up, follow me, I will lead
Oh, our amazing music people. Again, my name is Chayla Metzger, and I'm delighted to be serving as your worship associate this last August morning. before, as we know, the advent of all things pumpkin spice. Please silence your cell phones to enhance our unique time together here. We are so glad to have all of you with us, whether it's your first time here or you've been coming here your whole life, whether you're here in the sanctuary this morning or you are out there in the amazing online world. Thank you for being here on this amazing day on our spinning, changing planet Earth. The Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Santa Monica is an open and affirming congregation, welcoming queer, transgender people, people from all kinds of diverse and beautiful backgrounds, identities, and abilities, as we uphold our long UU history of social justice. We uphold intersectionality, anti-racism, and countering oppressions of all kinds to build a community that is radically inclusive, whole, just, sustainable, and dare I say, fun. We celebrate many religious beliefs and learn from wisdom, both ancient and contemporary, sacred and secular. You can look around you here in our sanctuary and see the symbols of many faith traditions that we learn from and we honor. We offer ministries and programs to serve the needs of our congregation and to be of service to the larger world, including chalice circles, small group ministries, meditation meetings, book clubs, children and youth religious education classes, activities for people of all ages. You can look online and find out more. We also join with other social and environmental justice activists to promote love, peace, and equity amongst the peoples of Earth. There is truly something here for everyone, and we invite you to consider becoming a member of our congregation to help us further the transformation work we do in the world and together. May you find inspiration, comfort, and community here. As we gather in our sacred space here, we recognize our homes and the homes of most of our members and friends are located near the sacred waters and upon the unceded lands of indigenous peoples. This is the traditional home of the Tongva, Gabrielena Quiche, Venchareño, Fernandeño, Tatatbian, Chumash tribes, and others, and we honor their presence amongst us and the ongoing struggle for equity, justice, and sovereignty. I would like to note that there were at least 3 Indian boarding schools in the LA County area historically, places of much pain and injustice. The Secretary of Interior, Deb Haaland, herself an American Indian, announced a new federal Indian boarding school initiative in 2021, and the final report from that, with recommendations for healing and redress across America from the oppression of those schools, was released this July. Take a look online. This is an important step for our nation. I do have a few announcements. Camp de Venneville Pines continues registration. You can do so online or after the service. There'll be folks to help you out in Forbes Hall. The camp weekend in the mountains is September 13th to Sunday, September 15th. Camp's filling up, but there are still some open rooms, so join the fantastic folks playing in the mountains that weekend. There is financial assistance available. Now, on a side note, we, as in me and several others of the worship associates, are looking for new folks to join our group after several have cycled off. Many voices make better worship, and your voices and your energy will look fabulous right here on the chancel. I will be at the table in Forbes Hall after the service. Drop by, find out what's involved, or email worshipassociates@uusm.org for more info. I'd love to talk to you about it. Upcoming, important, September 28th and 29th, our church is going to have a 2-day climate justice revival. This is for all of our community and beyond, and is sponsored by our hardworking Green Living Committee. Volunteers are still needed. Facilitator trainings are happening. Please email Allison Kendall at greenchair@uusm.org or come to the September 1st planning meeting out in the courtyard after church. Now, today, there's going to be an ice cream social, a back-to-school ice cream social, 12 to 2 in the courtyard, so stick around for that party. And the Women's Plus community gathering is happening along and combined with the UU The Vote postcard crew. Sending postcards to folks who might be needing a little encouragement to vote. So enjoy that. Remember to collect water from your various summer travels. We're going to bring it all together for our annual In-Gathering Water Communion service, September 8th. For all of these and additional announcements, please refer to the order of service. Down at the bottom, you'll see some information, or our UUSM website. Now, we're going to have our opening hymn, but before that, let's take a moment to greet each other, say hello to friends and neighbors, and when you hear the chords, it'll be time to stand up and sing, if you stand as you are willing or able, in body or in spirit. So, say hi to each other.
Let's sing our opening hymn. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land where I'm bound, where I'm bound. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land where I'm bound. There'll be freedom in that land. There'll be freedom in that land. There'll be freedom in that land where I'm bound, where I'm bound. There'll be freedom in that land. There'll be freedom in that land. There'll be freedom in that land where I'm bound. There'll be justice in that land. There'll be justice in that land. There'll be justice in that land where I'm bound, where I'm bound. There'll be justice in that land. There'll be justice in that land. There'll be justice in that land where I'm bound. There'll be singing in that land. There'll be singing in that land. There'll be singing in that land where I'm bound, where I'm bound. There'll be singing in that land. There'll be singing in that land. There'll be singing in that land where I'm bound.
Woohoo! Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to serve humankind in fellowship, thus do we covenant with each other. Okay, in Spanish now. El amor es la enseñanza de esta iglesia, buscar la verdad es su sacramento y el servicio es la oración, vivir juntos en paz, buscar el conocimiento en la libertad, servir a la humanidad en comunión. Así es como convenimos unos a otros. Thank you. Please be seated. If you've got donations for the West Side Food Bank, you can bring them forward at this time and put them in the basket up here. We've been partners collecting food for the food bank for many years. Our service to the world can be embodied right here this Sunday. All people, young and old, are encouraged to give. Bring things in non-breakable packaging that people love to eat. We'll now receive this morning's offering from the West Side Food Bank, followed by our time for all ages. So those young or young in spirit, come on up.
Good morning, friends. Am I on? Good morning.
Good morning.
As everyone makes their way up here, I'm just going to do a second commercial for the ice cream social this afternoon, and just let you know that it is for families with kids and young adults, but also for anyone who is interested to learn more about RE, because we'll have our great crew of RE people there. We'll be signing up volunteers. We'll be sharing information about future events. It'll be great to invite friends and neighbors to. So I specifically thought it would be great to have your assistance today, Emerson. Can you come give a look at this piece of paper I have over here? Because he's always teaching me new things about science, so I figured he'd probably know even more than me about the life cycle of a butterfly. I know that. I figured you did. So what do you see? Can you tell the people what we see? What's that first picture?
The first one is an egg, which hatches out to have a larva. Otherwise known as a caterpillar. Yeah. Caterpillars, when they're done eating, they make a home called a cocoon, which they rest in for 2 weeks.
And then what happens?
Then they grow wings and shed their cocoon and turn into a butterfly.
Great. I knew you'd have a great explanation for us. So, to show the picture to everyone else, there's the different stages of a little egg eventually becoming a butterfly. And I'm going to pass these out to everyone, too.
Could I have some?
Yeah. Here, you can take one, and then why don't you... Could you help pass those out to everyone else? Thank you. So I was thinking about a butterfly. It reminded me about how people go through many transformations too. But unlike butterflies, we get to go through many different transformations in our lives. Like you all started as little babies, right?
Yeah. And we also have an evolution.
That's right, yeah. The evolution of different species is a different kind of transformation. That's great. So we're surrounded by these examples of transformation in nature, and we get to go from being kids to young adults to middle age, and then the changes just keep on happening in our body, and then as we experience new things and learn that we like new things, our identities can change, our job can change, our favorite flavor of ice cream can change, and sometimes, like being that little caterpillar in the dark in the chrysalis and having to work its way to break out as a butterfly, change can be kind of scary or hard, but I think it's those changes that we have to go through that can transform us into a more beautiful version of ourselves on the other side. So when you guys take home your butterflies and look at those this week, you can think about how when you have to go through hard times, there could be beautiful changes on the other side. Maybe we could all remember that this week. Okay, so are you guys ready to go do a lesson and then get set up for ice cream later? Yay!
My mom's not here, but she's going to soon come.
Let's sing our youth out to their RE classes.
I did not receive any specific joys or sorrows to share with the congregation this morning, but I think we can all hold in our hearts the plentiful joys that our congregation carries and the many often unspoken sorrows we carry as well. And now we'll have our mindfulness prayer, meditation, and silence.
So as we continue in this time of centering and grounding, let us move into a time of shared stillness. And as Chayla mentioned, let's just take a moment now in silence to hold all those joys and sorrows that are unspoken on our hearts. May all that is held in this sacred space be lifted up with honor and with compassion. So as you continue to settle into your seat, I invite you to, if they haven't already, to allow your eyelids to flutter to a close, or if it feels better to keep your eyes open, just let your gaze go soft. You can put your hands at your side, or if you need a little more tenderness this morning, you can place them gently over your heart. As we begin, let us take a cleansing breath together, breathing in through the nose and out through your mouth. Let us journey alongside these words, these meditative words from Maureen Killeran. Here in this space, we are gathered, called by our sense of urgency or duty, or the longing for community, called to be together on this day, in this moment, breathing together. Here in this space, we are gathered, called to hold ourselves accountable to our values, to remind ourselves of those hopes and dreams and possibilities for which sometimes in the rough and tumble world can be hard to hold on to. Here in this space we are gathered, called to do our part in weaving a web of human community. Here in this space, some of us have come in pain and grief. May we take a moment to pause and hold gently all those named and unnamed that are gathered in this room today. And in the complexities of community, it is right that in this space some have come with joy bubbling up from their heart. May we rejoice together, remembering the wisdom that says joys are multiplied when shared. May our shared silence be a blessing on our hearts, on this community, and may this blessing extend outward to grace the wider world. And let us take a few moments now to sit in this sacred silence together, remembering to breathe. Let us now close our meditation in prayer. Transcendent Spirit, God of many names, we are gathered together this morning with hope, in the hope that we can find moments of stillness within ourselves. May we take moments to pay attention to our feet on the floor, our hands at our side, our breath moving in and out. Pay attention to the birds singing outside these windows, to the sun shining through the trees, to the stops and starts of the world moving right along outside these doors. May we pay attention to the desires, the pains, and the joys on our hearts. May we find the patience and strength within ourselves to live the questions of our lives and to reconnect with the wisdom and peace inherent within ourselves. May it be so, blessed be, and amen. When you're ready, if you haven't already, you can open your eyes again and join us back into this space. Our reading this morning comes from Rainer Maria Rilke, the 20th century Austrian poet and author, and it offers us some lessons on the process of becoming, the title of our worship service today. Lessons on accepting the changes and transformations in our own lives. Rilke writes, "In the great silence of these distances, I am touched by your beautiful anxiety about life, even more than I was in Paris, where everything echoes and fades away differently because of the excessive noise that makes things tremble. Here, where I am surrounded by an enormous landscape, which the winds move across as they come from the seas, here I feel that there is no one anywhere who can answer for you those questions and feelings which, in their depths, have a life of their own. For even the most articulate people are unable to help, since what words point to is so very delicate, it's almost unsayable. But even so, I think that you will not have to remain without a solution if you trust in things that are like the ones my eyes are now resting upon. If you trust in nature, in the small things that hardly anyone sees and that can so suddenly become huge, immeasurable, if you have this love for what is humble and try very simply, as someone who serves, to win the confidence of what seems poor, then everything will become easier for you, more coherent and somehow more reconciling. Not in your conscious mind, perhaps, which stays behind, astonished, but in your innermost awareness, awakeness, and knowledge. You are so young, so much before all beginning, and I would like to beg you, dear sir, as well as I can, to have patience with everything unresolved in your heart, and to try to love the questions themselves, as if they were locked rooms or books written in a foreign language. Don't search for the answers which could not be given to you now, because you would not be able to live them. And the point is to live everything, to live the questions now. Perhaps then, someday far in the future, you will gradually, without even noticing it, live your way into the answer. Perhaps you do carry within you the possibility of creating and forming as an especially blessed and pure way of living. Train yourself for that. But take whatever comes with great trust. And as long as it comes out of your will, out of some need of your innermost self, then take it upon yourself. May it be so. So as I begin my sermon this morning, I feel like Emerson has already offered it. So I'll do my best to follow his lead. But I really appreciate the simple wisdom, right? And at the end of the day, that's really what this message is all about, the simple wisdom that springs forth from every one of us. So as we ponder that, I want to share a brief story on my own learning of lessons earlier this year as I set a low-stakes personal goal of reading more books. Novels, nonfiction, comic books, graphic novels, it didn't matter. I just wanted to do some more reading. I was missing physical media, something you can hold in your hand without a screen. It's one of those practices that can easily slip out of habit. Maybe some of you can relate. I finished grad school a few years ago, completed my necessary certifications, and then I took a much-needed deep breath. And part of that meant not looking at another book again for a nice long time. It was really needed. But I do love reading, especially a really good novel, one that transports me to another world and another time, getting my mind whirling at the majesty of what can be built with the simple art of imagination and creativity. So I tried picking some up again. I read a few really good books. And then I think you can see where I'm going here. Dust has taken up residence on my bookshelf, unfortunately. It's hard, friends, to transform your personal life and habits, right? It takes time, it takes dedication, it takes a certain belief. In church, in today's service, we're investigating the spiritual theme of transformation. How does change shape us personally, professionally, and spiritually? Asking again, how might we transform ourselves and in so doing, transform the world? As Unitarian Universalists, this process is really central. Reverend James Luther Adams, one of our great UU teachers of the 20th century, illustrated the main tenets of our transformational faith in his many sermons and writings. One core value being that courageous love can transform the world. and a second being that revelation continues to be revealed, meaning the truth of the world is not sealed. It continues to unfurl itself to us all if we are willing to see it. Transformation, you see, is baked into this tradition of ours. But this doesn't make us any better for it, unfortunately. Some of us love change. It keeps things fresh and interesting. Others hate it. Change can often feel chaotic. It requires us to shift out of our comfort zones. And sometimes all we have the energy for is to remain in stasis, to remain in place. Sometimes change happens in an instant. One day we wake up and the earth feels as though it's tilted on its axis, for better or for worse. Other times it's a slow-going venture, and we often don't have the time for that. The doldrums of daily living make it hard to create new patterns, just like my failed attempt at becoming a bookworm again. And it's this reality that got me wondering, is there an easier way to make this whole business of transformation quicker? Perhaps you've had a similar thought at one point or another. Man, I sure wish I could have those muscles already without the gym part. I sure wish I could speak that second or third language without practicing every day. And I really wish those vacation days could spread wider and longer now without putting in my time at work. And hey, maybe there is a way. In my initial burst of reading again, I came across the study of alchemy. I'm willing to bet most of you have heard that term before, maybe more unfamiliar for others. Alchemy is an ancient practice, philosophy, and science, one steeped in mystery and spirituality. In short, is the study of creating something out of nothing. In ancient times, most often focused on transforming everyday materials into something precious and rare. A common experiment was aimed at turning base metals into noble metals, like transforming lead into gold, for example. But that wasn't all that it was focused on. There were attempts at creating an elixir of immortality, developing methods of healing all illnesses, producing perpetually burning lamps, and very importantly, reviving dead plants. There was a belief that there was a holy substance out there that could achieve all of these things and more. The philosopher's stone was sought after by many throughout the Eastern and Western worlds. Alchemy captured the imagination of great thinkers in Egypt, China, the Middle East, Greece, and large parts of Europe from its earliest beginnings in the 3rd century BCE. Even Sir Isaac Newton, for example, had a deep fascination with alchemy. And who wouldn't, right? I mean, in our world of quick fixes and instant gratification, alchemy is the ultimate solution. It's the silver bullet. Alchemy is often called a sort of magic because its premise does indeed seem pretty magical. To turn not much of anything into gold, to cure loved ones with a simple drink, to create energy without an associated cost on the environment around us, to save my 3rd jade bush from an untimely death. Sign me up, right? This is the sort of transformation that everyone wants a part of. And sure, it's true that sometimes wildly positive change does blow into one's life every once in a while, but it's usually not that easy. The reality is often harsher. And that's probably why alchemy fell out of favor by the early 1700s, as the major tenets of the scientific revolution were accepted more and more by general society. The allure of alchemy faded, and what an exciting dream it was. But the truth is that transformation takes time and effort, and it's often not pretty or seamless, and that process of metamorphosis, the process of becoming, is probably best evidenced by the humble butterfly. You see, the butterfly has much to teach us if we're willing to sit, wait, and listen. The butterfly invites us to find joy in the process, even as it might bring moments of stillness, times of struggle, and lots of gooey bits in between. And as many of you likely know, as we heard from Emerson and our young people this morning, the butterfly does not begin life with beautiful wings flying to and from. Instead, it begins as the humble caterpillar, crawling across the dirt and mud, eating as much as it can for the journey ahead. And then it's time to pause, because transformation requires rest. It folds itself into its chrysalis, a sort of protective cocoon, as growth and change continues. It's so vulnerable in this stage, opening itself to what may come. And its physical form is literally breaking down into a sticky goo so that something else can emerge. And so after some time and lots of shifting and growing, the butterfly slowly emerges, unfurling itself from its cocoon into a completely new form. It's a sort of miracle, right? And Anais Nin wrote this poem that I think speaks beautifully to the transformation of the butterfly. She wrote, "And then the day came when the risk to remain tight in a bud was more painful than the risk it took to blossom." This work of transformation is undoubtedly risky business. It's hard work, and it brings its own joys too. And isn't that what this is about? The process of becoming does not have an endpoint. It's about finding the lessons along the way. It's about openness to growth at all ages and stages, and about finding a sense of peace in that ongoing process. It's about living the questions. As we heard earlier from Rilke, exhorting his friend, writing him from afar, try to love the questions themselves as if they were locked rooms or books written in a foreign language. Don't search for the answers. The point is to live everything. Live the questions now. Perhaps then, someday far in the future, you will gradually, without even noticing it, live your way into the answer. The work of transformation is a spiritual one. Much like alchemy, to transform is to inhabit a sort of magic. And perhaps we all need to lean into that mystery a little bit more and allow the rest to unfurl itself before us. Church, what is it that's transforming in your life right now that you have been afraid or nervous to change, that is calling out to you? Is now the time you must take the risk to blossom something new into your life? The process of becoming requires the patience of the butterfly, the acceptance of the continual journey. The transformation from caterpillar to butterfly is no small feat. It takes time, perseverance, and yes, maybe even a little dash of magic. And I pray that whatever is blossoming in your life right now may be tenderly cared for as it grows and takes new shape. And that we as a community offer one another that courageous love that Reverend Luther Adams talked about, so that we might be safe and warm places for that growth to continue with abundance. Church, may we be the people of transformation. May we transform ourselves so that we may transform the world, creating a world more loving, more just, and more merciful. May we be the people willing to live the questions. May it be so. Blessed be, and amen.
As a church, we are here for more than ourselves. We share the abundance of our Sunday offerings, and half will support our congregation to facilitate all of its many activities. Just for some examples, the hospitable work of our weekly greeters, table volunteers, ushers, coffee committees. Certainly, we are supporting our religious exploration work of all ages, our work on the Green Committee for Sustainability, and so much more. The other half of our offering this Sunday will go to an organization in our community. Today, we split our offerings with Sojourn Domestic Violence Services. Sojourn provides trauma-informed and culturally responsive services to individuals and families who have unfortunately experienced domestic violence, and while empowering communities with the knowledge and support to build healthy relationships. Sojourn has been active since 1977, and they strive to meet the emergency and long-term needs of thousands of domestic violence survivors. So that's who we're sharing our money with today. There are many ways to give, which you will find on the slide behind me. Text, cash, checks, all are welcome. If you are new or visiting or just don't prefer technology, you may opt to drop something in the offertory bags that are coming around shortly. Thank you for all of you, for what you give monetarily and of your spirit, of your time, of your energy to our congregation and our wider community. I invite our ushers to come forward. Your offering will now be gratefully received.
If I could reach the stars, I'd pull one down for you, shine it on my heart, so you could see the truth, that this love I have inside is everything it seems. But for now I find it's only in my dreams that I can change the world. I will be the sunlight in your universe. You would think my love was really something good, baby, if I could change the world. If I could be a king, even for a day, I'd take you as my queen. I'd have it no other way, and our love would rule in this kingdom we had made. Till then I'd be a fool, wishing for the day that I can change the world. I would be the sunlight in your universe. You would think my love was really something good, baby, if I could change the world. Baby, if I could change the world. I could change the world. I would be the sunlight in your universe. You would think my love was real something good, baby, if I could change, baby, if I could change the world, baby, if I could change the world. Thank you. Please rise in body or in spirit for our closing hymn. This is not in the hymnal, so we will learn it together. I'll sing the first verse, and then I invite you to sing it with me. Be the change you want to see in the world. Be the change you want to see in the world. Be the change you want to see in the world. And change will come to you. Your turn. Be the change you want to see in the world. Be the change you want to see in the world. Be the change you want to see in the world. And change will come to you. Let's try that one more time. Be the change you want to see in the world. Be the change you want to see in the world. Be the change you want to see in the world. And change will come to you. Be the voice. Be the voice you want to hear in the world. Be the voice you want to hear in the world. Be the voice you want to hear in the world. And change will come to you. Be the light you want to shine. Be the light you want to shine in the world. Be the light you want to shine in the world. Be the light you want to shine in the world. And change will come to you. Be the change. Be the change you want to see in the world. Be the change you want to see in the world. Be the change you want to see in the world. And change will come to you. And change will come. And change will come to you. One more time. And change will come to you. Last time. And change will come to you.
Church, as we extinguish our chalice and move into our closing prayer, I wanted to extend my gratitude for the incredible staff and volunteers who have made today's worship service happen and so beautifully. And of course, thank you to all of you, both here in the sanctuary and at home. Thank you for welcoming me into your wonderful space and community this morning. I'm so glad to have spent my Sunday with you. Church, may your courageous love spark the work of transformation both near and far. May you take time today to ponder and appreciate the transformations taking place in your life. May you go in peace and go change the world. Blessed be, and amen.